You being alive can be your way of thanking me. Zayden POV. I watch as Bunny stabs a man in the stomach and then stabs them in the chest. I look at Harvey and laugh, you're going to watch all of this happen. I drag him through the crowd and throw him against the wall, don't even think about moving. I see some rope and I tie his arms behind his back and then I tie his legs together. I look at Bunny and smile when she kicks a man in the face and then put the knife through his head. I walk up to Bunny as she fights the men. Kane and Neil get all of the women and take them to the elevator. I'm staying here just in case something goes wrong. Leo says as he walks past me. One man grabs Bunny by the neck and before I can do anything Bunny lifts her leg and kicks him in the face. He drops Bunny and she jumps on top of him and hit him on the head with a chair. The chair breaks and she picks up the chair's leg and stab it in the man's chest. She continues to go on her killing spree for the next 5 minutes. I smile as she kills each man with a smile on her face. All of a sudden a man punches Bunny in the face and she falls. She tries to get up, but instead the man pulls her up by her hair. I walk up to them and Bunny laughs, you just pissed off Sadie. I pick up the knife Bunny dropped a long time ago and walk up behind the man. I slice his neck and he falls limp to the floor. Bunny runs for the last man. She jumps up and kicks him in the stomach making him fall to the floor. I throw the knife and it lands in the man's stomach. Bunny takes the knife and straddles the man. She stabs the man in the eye and laughs. She catches her breath and I walk up to her, that was fun. She says with a smile on her face. She has blood all over her and I help her up. I kiss her on the lips and she moans. I pull away and she pouts, more. I want more, Zadie. I smile and squeeze her ass, you have one more person to deal with. I point towards Harvey and she smiles. We walk up to Harvey and he starts crying. P please. Don't do this. Bunny bends down in front of him, why shouldn't I? I hand her my gun and she shoots Harvey in the leg. Let's die slowly, okay? He screams in pain and cry. She shoots him in the stomach and he gasps. He coughs up blood and Bunny stands up. She puts her foot on his face, bye bye. She hands me the gun back and I see Leo from the corner of my eye staring at us with wide eyes, I didn't know she can do all that. He looks at Bunny and then at me, you're going to stay here until this place gets cleaned up. Leo says as he points at the mess in front of us. We see the elevator doors open and a group of men comes in. We hear a few of them gag and I laugh. I point at Bunny, she did all of this. It wasn't me this time. Bunny smiles and waves at them, Zadie said I could have fun. Leo shakes his head, you two are really on a different level. Kane and Neil walk up to us, Lyric did this? Neil asks with his hand over his mouth. Bunny nods her head, yeah, I did. Zadie killed one person. Kane looks at me, why just one? I shrug my shoulders, he punched Bunny. Bunny looks around, can we leave? I'm ready for Zadie to fuck me. I feel myself get hard and I grab Bunny by the waist and put her back on my front, how about we fuck now? You don't mind an audience, do you? Bunny shakes her head and bites her lip. Yeah, no. You two can leave. We will clean the rest of this up. You two go home and fuck. Kane says as he pushes us to the elevator. I stop walking, Bunny's covered in blood and people are up there. Kane drops his head, take the back door when you get up there. Thankfully the place is not as crowded because it just opened. I nod my head and we get in the elevator. I push Bunny against the wall and she laughs. I lick her ear and she lets out a soft moan. She rubs my clothed dick, I want Zadie. I lift her leg up and the elevator door opens. I pull away from her and we walk out. We walk to the back door and once we get outside I look around. Next thing I know it starts raining. I unlock the door and we run to the car. Bunny starts laughing, why are you laughing? She shrugs her shoulders and then shivers, I don't know. I start the car and then head home. We pull up to my house and I see an unknown car. Bunny tries to run in but I stop her, stand behind me. I pull out my gun and we walk in. Nancy. Luke? I call for both of them and seconds later Nancy answers me. We're in the living room. We walk to the living room and I see a man sitting across from Nancy and Luke. He looks at me and smiles. What are you doing here, Titus? He lets out a soft laugh. I just came here to check up on you and Nancy. He looks at Bunny and raises an eyebrow. Who's the girl? He looks at Luke and then at Nancy. It seems like you two grew quite a lot. Nancy's not trying to kill you anymore and it also seems like you have your memory back. He looks back at me and then at Bunny. Why does this woman have blood all over her? Bunny smiles at him. Zadie said I could have fun. I killed a lot of people today. He looks at me and I sit down. Bunny, go take a shower. She looks at me and pouts, but you're supposed to fuck me. I look at Luke and he nods his head. Lyric, how about when you're done with your shower we can go get some donuts? Bunny looks at Luke with wide eyes. Can we? Luke stands up and nods his head. Yeah. Come on. They walk upstairs and I look at Titus. What's wrong? Don't want your Bunny to hear the conversation. I shrug my shoulders. Depends. Lately, she has been wanting to kill without even asking me. He raises his eyebrow. I'll explain since you don't understand. Bunny will kill you by putting her lips on you. I don't like it when Bunny's lip is on someone's other than mine. He laughs. If she wants me dead she will try to get you to kill me instead. I nod my head. You do realize if you kill me my son will come after you, right? I smile. I wouldn't mind that. He clears his throat. I came by to check up on you and Nancy. I raise my eyebrow. Why? You haven't been here since I lost my memory. Why do you all of a sudden want to check up on us? He looks at me and laughs. You really think Jaslyn put those cameras up just for herself? I've been watching you both. I just came to meet the man and the woman who has been around for a while now. I look at Nancy. You and Luke are fucking? She quickly shakes her head. No. We haven't done anything. I'm not clean. You said men like women who are virgins and I'm not that. I raise my eyebrow. Has he called you dirty? She shakes her head. No. She looks at her fingers. Do you think of yourself as dirty? She looks at Titus and then slowly nods her head. I put my arms behind my head. Nancy, you're not dirty so stop calling yourself that. Titus looks at me. You would never kill me. I laugh. Why do you think that? Cade being your son means nothing to me. He shakes his head and laughs. No, because you're grateful that I brought you and Nancy to a safe haven. He stands up and looks at me and Nancy. I don't regret bringing you two here. Who knows where you both be right now? I look at Nancy and I see tears in her eyes. Don't hold it in. Let it out. She starts crying, and no one has ever cared for me. I never had anyone there for me. Thank you for bringing me and Zayden here. Titus smiles at her and looks at me. You two being alive is the thanks you can give me. He looks at me and I rest my arm on the armrest. Not going to cry or say thanks. I smile at him. I'm alive, aren't I? He walks past me and heads out. You two can also call me Dad if you like. I give him the finger and Nancy hiccups. You have an older brother named Cade and a younger sister named Charlie. He walks out after that and I look at Nancy. I'm sorry, I cried again. I shrug my shoulders. Just cry. I look up at the ceiling and start laughing. I put my hand over my face. I hate that he's right. Your room is my room. You belong to my room now. Lyric POV. Me and Luke are coming back from the donut shop and we see Titus walking towards his car. He looks at us and smiles. Lyric and Luke. I raise my eyebrow. How is it being with Zayden? I smile at him. It's fun. He lets me kill people for fun. I walk up to him and he leans against the car. Do you want a donut? He shakes his head and looks at Luke. You hurt Nancy and I'll come for you. Luke's eyes widen and I look at Luke with confusion in my eyes. What happened with you and Nancy? Luke shakes his head and Titus gets in his car. I see the way he looks at Nancy. Luke pushes me in the house and he calls for Zadie. Nancy comes from around the corner. He's upstairs. Luke looks at Nancy. What did you tell Titus? Why were you crying? I go to the kitchen to set my donuts down. I didn't tell him anything. I hear Nancy say. I walk to the backyard and Kovu runs up to me. He rubs his head against me and I laugh. Kovu, let's do some more training. I've trained Kovu to attack anything I tell him to. I have dummies all around the backyard and whenever I tell Kovu he jumps for the dummy. He sits down beside me and I point to a dummy in a tree. Get it, Kovu. He runs to the tree and starts climbing the tree. He knocks the dummy down and then lays down on the branch. He looks down at me and I smile. Good boy. Luke and Nancy come out and they look at Kovu. You really got him trained. Nancy says and I look at her. Are you okay? She nods her head and Luke scoffs. There's no way you got him trained. I smile at Luke and then I look at Kovu. Kovu. Scare. I point at Luke and Kovu jumps down from the tree and runs towards Luke. He walks slowly towards Luke and let out a low growl. Oh okay. He's trained. Tell him to sit. I laugh. Good boy. Come here. Kovu runs up to me and walks around me. He rubs against me and I give him a hug. Zayden wants you to go to his room. I nod my head and walk in the house. I go upstairs and go to Zadie's room. I walk in and see him packing again. We leave early in the morning. He says as he closes his suitcase, what about me? Do I get a suitcase? He sits down on the bed and motion for me to come to him. I stand in front of him. I already packed for you. Nancy did, but she really only put robes in your suitcase. He wraps his arms around me. When we get to Greece you can have all the fun you want. I look at him and smile. Really? Are you going to kill with me? He laughs. Of course I am. You're not just going to have all the fun to yourself. We hear a knock and Zadie lays down. I go to the door and Nancy walks in. Leo's here. Zadie sits up and I run downstairs. Hey Theo. He glares at me and I laugh. Did you already have sex with Barry? Luke starts laughing and I see someone behind Leo. Who's that? Leo steps to the side and I cross my arms when I see Missy. Why is she here? Zadie asks as he sits down on the steps. Missy and Barry will stay here until tomorrow. I raise my eyebrow. Barry? Seconds later Barry walks in and Zadie sighs. Why? Leo walks to the door. Because we have something to do. I walk up to Barry and he steps back. But why Barry? Is he coming to Greece with us? Leo nods his head. Yes, he is. He has nowhere else to go and Kane doesn't want to leave him here by himself. I look at Zadie and he is looking at Leo with a lazy look. Well, I'll see all of you tomorrow morning. He walks out after that and I grab Barry's hand. I'm sorry I tried to kill you earlier. Want a donut? Barry shakes his head and my smile drop. Let's go outside and see the cubs. You already met Kovu, but you haven't met Oscar and Baloo. I pull him to the backyard and I call for the cubs. They run up to me and I look at Barry. Are you scared of me? I ask as I rub Baloo on his head. He slowly nods his head and I smile. I'm not a bad person. I like to kill for fun. He bends down beside me and Oscar runs up to him. Why do you kill? I look at him. I wasn't like this before. He looks at me and I smile. I'm not going to kill you so you don't have to worry about that. Leo will be sad if anything were to happen to you. He shows me a smile and I laugh. So you two already fucked? His eyes widen and he quickly shakes his head. No. We haven't done anything. I laugh at him and he drops his head. Let's go back in. We need to ask Zadie where you would be sleeping. You can sleep in the room with me if you don't want to be by yourself. Yeah, that's not happening. Bunny, you're sleeping in the room with me and Barry can sleep in a different room. Missy's sleeping in your room. Zadie says as he leans against the doorway. I shake my head, no, I don't want her in my room. Why can't me and Barry sleep in my room? He walks up to me and Barry steps back. I will not allow some man to sleep in the same bed as Bunny. I cross my arms, he's gay. He's not going to do anything. He looks at Barry, how do you know he's gay? Barry looks at his feet, he has been eyeing you and Luke since he got here. Zadie looks back at me, I don't care if the man is gay, bisexual, transgender, a woman, or a gay woman. The only person you will sleep with is me. I shake my head, I want to sleep in my room. I don't want that Missy girl sleeping on my bed. Zadie pulls me by collar and laughs, Bunny, when was the last time you slept in your room? That's not your room anymore and that's not your bed anymore. I shake my head again, I don't like Missy. I don't want her in my bed. He pulls out his phone and turns the collar on, I pull at the collar and he laughs, where is your bed, Bunny? He turns it off and I smile, in my room. He turns it back on and I fall on the ground. I hold my neck and Barry bends down and wraps his arms around me, go in the house. Zadie turns it off and he is looking at Barry, go. He says to Barry. Barry slowly gets up and walks into the house. I start coughing and Zadie bends down in front of me, where's your bed? He pulls me by my collar and his face is inches away from mine, in your room. He kisses me on the lips, Missy is only in your room because your room is the only room that can lock from the outside. I look at him, now do you understand why she is sleeping in your old room? I nod my head and he plays with my collar, your room is my room. Your bed is my bed. Your bathroom is my bathroom. I nod my head again and he lifts my head up. Meaning all your robes will be in my room. All of your necessities will be in my room. The room you now belong to is my room. He places his lips on mine and I kiss him back. He deepens then kiss and I moan. I wrap my arms around his neck and he smiles in the kiss. He pulls away and I pout, kiss me longer. We didn't even have sex earlier. He stands up and pulls me up. He squeezes my butt and he groans, we will have our fun tonight. No need to even worry about that. I nod my head and laugh, okay. We walk in the house and Zadie looks at Missy, you will be sleeping in Bunny's old room. He looks at Barry, you can just find some room around here. Zadie walks upstairs and I walk up to Barry, let's go find you a room. He looks at me, are you okay? You were just in pain a minute ago. I laugh, I'm okay. Zadie shocks me if I do something he doesn't like. It doesn't happen often. He looks at me as if I'm crazy and we go to a room. He looks around and then at me, why are we going to Greece? I sit on the bed, Zadie's taking me there to kill one of my bullies. His eyes widen and I laugh, I was bullied really bad while I was in high school by 4 girls. Zadie is the reason for all of the bullying, but I don't want to kill him. Even if I tried I doubt I would succeed. He holds his hand up, I don't want to hear any more. I nod my head and he sits down beside me, I don't have to stay in here for the rest of the day, do I? I shake my head, I don't think so. You can walk around if you want. He looks at me, let's go back outside and play with the cubs. I nod my head and smile, okay. Unknown POV. How long have we been here and they still haven't shown up? I look at Jermaine and he is watching TV. He shrugs his shoulders, I told you we should have waited. I roll my eyes and sigh, we've been in Greece for 2 weeks now. Don't get me wrong, the place is beautiful and all, but I'm ready to get this over with. He finally looks at me, what exactly are supposed to be doing? I'm the one going after him, not you. I laugh, I'm here to watch Zayden work, you're the only one I can get hard for. Zayden POV. I am watching Bunny and Barry while they're playing with the cubs. You're going to lock me in a room all day. I look at Missy and nod my head, yeah, I am. She rolls her eyes, why? What can I even do? I shrug my shoulders, I don't trust you since you tried to kill me and Bunny twice. I'm not even going to try to give you a third chance. I walk up to her and motion for her to go down the hall. We walk to Bunny's old room and she looks around. What happens if I decide to kill myself while I'm in here? She sits on the bed. I cross my arms, I could care less. I'm going to get to your dad one way or another. I close the door and lock it. I walk outside and go to my hammock. I look up at the sky and minutes later Tiger jumps on me. He looks at me and then lay down on my legs. You like it when I push you away from me, don't you? He meows back and I let out a long sigh. What are you thinking about? I look at Nancy and shrug my shoulders, I just have a feeling something's bad going to happen while we're in Greece. Either to me or Bunny. She sits in the hammock across from me, how do you feel about that? I hum in response, I don't know. I'm just ready to kill this man and I'm also ready to see Bunny kill her last bully. Kovu walks up to me and I reach over to rub his head. Kane has a hotel in Greece so it will be easier to keep watch of Kovu. Plus, he won't do anything unless Bunny says so. Nancy looks at me and sighs, what do you have to say? Stop holding everything in. She looks at her fingers, what happens if you die? Where will me and Lyric go? I laugh, have you and Bunny been talking about this? She shakes her head, no. Why? Bunny asks the same thing. I told her I'm not going to die. So I'm telling you the same thing. I'm not going to die and you aren't going anywhere. She smiles at me, Zayden, you're different. I raise my eyebrow, different how? You wouldn't have answered my question like that. You would have said if you die you're just dead. But you didn't say that. She stands up and I watch her as she walks off. Since you said you're not going to die you better keep your word. She walks towards the house and Kovu follows her. Tiger stands up and walks on my chest. He sits down and I pick him up and put him on the ground, you getting a little too comfortable. He meows back and tries to jump back on me. From the corner of my eye, I see Bunny and Barry. Barry walks in the house and Bunny comes towards me. She looks at me and smiles, hey Zadie. I pull her on top of me and laugh, hey Bunny. I rock us back and forth, what were you thinking about? Our faces are inches away from each other, nothing. I kiss her on the lips and she kisses me back. She starts humming and Tiger jumps on me. He rubs his head against me and I groan. Your cat just doesn't understand personal space. She laughs. He likes you. I squeeze her butt and she moans. Bunny, you will not do anything to Missy unless I say so. She looks at me and then lay her head on my chest. Do you understand? She doesn't say anything and I grab her by her face. I squeeze her face and she grabs my wrist. Do you understand? She nods her head and I let her go. She rubs her face and gets up. She walks away and I follow behind her. Where are you going? She looks at me, away from you. We walk in the house and I grab her arm. I push her against the wall and she looks away, I don't like her. Elias doesn't even want her anyway. We can just kill her. I laugh, she's staying alive until I say otherwise. I step back from her and she looks up at me, go fuck her then. I raise my eyebrow and I laugh, fuck her. Do you want me to? She crosses her arms, I don't care what you do. I hum in response and I pick her up and throw her over my shoulders. I walk to the room Missy is in and unlock the door. I walk in and put Bunny down on the bed. I look at Bunny and then at Missy. Take your clothes off. I say to Missy and she raises her eyebrow, excuse me. I walk up to her and she steps back, strip. She shakes her head and I laugh, you can't deny it. I've seen the way you've been looking at me. The night we first met you were watching me as I was kissing Bunny. Her face turns red and I laugh. She slowly takes her clothes off. Bunny gets off the bed. You leave this room, I will do more than shock you with that collar. She stops walking and looks at me. I look back at Missy and I wrap my arms around her waist. I kiss her on the lips and she kisses me back. I pick her up and she moans. I carry her to the bed and lay her down. I kiss down her neck and she takes my shirt off. I look at Bunny and she is watching us. Missy grinds her hips against mine and I laugh. You didn't even resist. You really want this, don't you? She nods her head and I kiss her. She kisses me back and I smile in the kiss. I pull away and stand up. I walk up to Bunny and she stands her ground. I put her hand on my dick. Didn't I say you're the only one who could get me hard? My dick is soft and I was just with a naked woman. I lift her head up and crash my lips to hers. I quickly pull away and smile. I'm hard now. I pick her up and she wraps her legs around my waist. I walk out of the room and put Bunny against the door. I lock the door and she kisses me. I kiss her back and she moans, Zadie, I can't wait anymore. I smile, we're going to the room right now. Next morning, I wake up to my alarm going off. I hit snooze and close my eyes. Seconds later my phone ring. I put the phone to my ear, wake the fuck up. We're outside. Kane yells into the phone and I hang up. Bunny groans in her sleep and I lay back down. I stretch my body out and groan, Bunny, wake up. She gets under the cover and I pull the blanket off her. She sits up and reaches for the blanket. She pulls the blanket, 5 more minutes. I pull the blanket back towards me. I stand up and pull Bunny towards me, Zadie, it's 3 in the morning. She sits on the edge of the bed and stares off in space. I go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and wash my face. I come back out and see Bunny still sitting on the edge of the bed. I walk up to her and pinch her nose, wake up. Go brush your teeth. She gets off the bed and walks to the bathroom. I get dressed and all of a sudden Kane walks in. He looks at me, I was just hoping your ass was still in the bed. I was going to drag us out of the bed for hanging up on me. A few minutes later Bunny comes out of the bathroom and she shows Kane a sleepy smile, hey Kane. Hey, Lyric. When we get on the jet you can go back to sleep. It's a 23-hour flight. I stop at what I'm doing and look at Kane, you're joking, right? He shakes his head, nope. Bunny starts getting dressed and I grab our suitcases. I sent Kovu on a 23-hour flight. I didn't know it was going to be that long. Kane shrugs his shoulders, he'll be alright. I made sure they knocked him out for the whole flight. We walk downstairs and I see Cade. He looks at me with a small smirk, I see that you got your memory back. I laugh, yep, it seems like your dad has been around me for a long time. He crosses his arms, he did tell me that I have a new brother and sister. I look around, where's Jasmine? Not bringing her along? He shakes his head, nope, not taking any chances bringing her along. Although we just made up for the lost time after 4 years. We fucked like rabbits. I raise my eyebrow, well, I'm a wolf who loves to fuck a bunny. He looks at Bunny, she's still here. I thought you would have killed her by now. I shake my head, didn't you threaten me not to kill her? He laughs, it seems like that's the only threat you listen to. We've threatened you plenty of times. You must be really happy. He arches his eyebrow in confusion, happy? I nod my head, you laughed just then and not only that but you're actually going back and forth with me. We walk outside and I put my bags in the trunk. I feel normal though. He looks at Missy and Barry, who's the woman? I can tell that the guy is with Leo. He looks like Leo's type. I start laughing, he would have gotten mad if he had heard you. He shrugs his shoulders, it'll be alright. Nancy and Luke come out. Nancy locks the door and they walk to a different car. I look at Missy and she looks away from me. I walk up to her, "Are you mad because I left in the middle of it?" She ignores me and I laugh, "You are. Well, I don't fuck anybody, but Bunny. She does have the best pussy." 23-hour flight. Zayden POV. We are on the jet and everybody is asleep except for me and Kane. Kane comes up to me with a blanket and hands it to me. I spread it out on top of Bunny and look at him. "Why aren't you asleep?" He shrugs his shoulders, "Not sure, but I will be soon." I look at Bunny who has her head on my lap and then out the window. "What are you going to do if Jaslyn is against you and she really wants to kill you?" I look back at Kane, "I'll have Bunny deal with her." He looks at me and shakes his head, "At least talk it out before you do anything stupid." I hum in response and he reclines his chair and closes his eyes. "You better go to sleep. You may not be able to sleep once everybody wakes up." I look around and see everybody asleep. I look back out the window and then close my eyes. 8 hours later. I am being woken up by the plane shaking too much. I slowly open my eyes and see that Bunny is not beside me. I sit up and see her talking to Barry. I stretch my body out and Leo walks up to me. "We're about to land in a few minutes." I raise my eyebrow, "Why?" He sits down, "They have to check the jet and make sure everything's okay." Kate sits beside Leo, "So you and that guy already fucked?" Leo's eyes widen and I laugh, "No. What the hell?" Bunny walks up to me and sits on my lap, "It's pretty obvious that you want to." Bunny says. Kate nods his head agreeing with her, "Yeah, I've been gone for a few months and you got yourself a new fuck buddy. How long do you think he will last?" Kate looks at Bunny, "I don't know. I didn't even know Theo used to have fuck buddies." Kate nods his head and smiles, "Yeah, he had a few of them before this guy." Leo puts his face in his hands, "Elle can't believe you two are really having this conversation." I look over at Barry and see him and Luke talking to each other, at least he's not listening to them. Leo lifts his head and looks at Barry. "Oh, thank God. Would you two please talk about something else?" He says as he glares at Kate and Bunny. The plane finally lands and Kane stands up, "We can get off and stretch." Bunny stands up and I follow Kane off the plane. Missy follows behind me and we both stretch. "Should I kill you after I kill your father?" She shrugs her shoulders, "Doesn't matter to me." She looks at me, "You can decide what you want to do with my life." She walks back on the plane and I look at Kane, "Yeah, I'm not going to let you kill her, so go ahead and get that thought out of your head." "Why?" He shrugs his shoulders, "There's no need to kill her." I laugh, "You're talking to someone who loves to kill for fun." We get back on the plane and see Bunny, Luke, and Nancy playing a card game. I walk up to them and Bunny looks at me, "What are you playing?" She smiles and shows me her cards, Phase 10. I sit down behind her and she leans against my chest. I watch as they play and Luke looks at me, "What are we doing when we land?" I shrug my shoulders, "More than likely rest for a day. We shouldn't have to worry about Elias as soon as we land." Nancy throws her hands up, "I'm done." Luke's eyes widen and Bunny pouts, "How did you finish so fast?" Bunny drops her cards and Luke looks through Nancy's cards, "I have to make sure she didn't cheat." Nancy laughs and I look at her, "I'm not the only one who's different." Luke and Bunny look at me with confused faces and Nancy shrugs her shoulders, "I guess we're both different." An hour later the plane starts back up and minutes later we are back in the sky. I look at Kane, "The woman I ran into earlier will be here with a guy who also wants to kill Elias Tucker. I'm going to meet up with her." He raises his eyebrow, "She told you that? Want me to come along?" I shake my head, "No, she didn't tell. I just know and I'll take Bunny with me." Kate laughs, "She has to go everywhere you go, don't she?" I look at Kate and smile, "Leaving Bunny is not a good thing. She will end up bringing trouble towards you." He scoffs, "Has she done that to you before?" I shake my head, no, but I'm the one who broke Bunny, so I know how she will be when I'm not around. She sees that as a chance to have fun. Bunny's definition of fun is either us fucking or her going around killing someone. He looks at Bunny, she's just going to end up killing someone when there's a lot of witnesses and have all of us in deep shit. Do you want that? Leo and Kane both shake their heads, hell no. Take her with you. They say at the same time. I laugh and Cade rolls his eyes. I look at him and show him a teasing smile, so yes, I have to take Bunny with me everywhere I go. 16 hours later. We are finally in Greece and everybody is tired. What time is it? I ask Kane as we walk to a car. It's 8 p.m. So we have more than enough time to go to sleep and rest up. We get in 2 separate cars and head to Kane's hotel. I look at Bunny and she can barely keep her eyes open. We're going to take a shower and then go to bed. She nods her head and leans her head on the window. Once we get to the hotel, Kane walks up to the front desk and come back with 4 room keys. We will be sharing 2 suites. Zayden, Lyric, Nancy, Luke, and Missy in one suite and the rest of us in the other. He hands me, Luke, and Leo a key and we walk towards the elevators. We get to our suites and I look at Bunny and see her looking at Missy. Bunny, if you do anything I will not hesitate when dealing with you. She looks at me and smiles, I might just take that chance. We walk in the suite and I pick her up. I walk to the biggest room, we're going to bed. Bunny laughs as we walk in a room. I put her down on the bed and I look down at her, go take a shower. She walks to the bathroom and I sit down on the bed. A minute later I hear the water run and walk to the bathroom. I walk in and see Bunny washing herself up. I take my clothes off and get in the shower with her. I wash myself up and she looks at me. Bunny, are you scared of me? She shakes her head and smiles, nope. She steps out and walks to the tub. She turns the water on and I put my head under the shower head. Should I be scared of you? I look at her naked body, I don't know. I turn the shower off and I step out. We get in the tub and she faces me. I lean my head against the tub and look up at the ceiling. Bunny, don't go anywhere near Missy. Kane is making me keep her alive so she will stay alive. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds and I look at her. If I do, I outstretch my arm and pull her by her collar. I put my finger in her neck and smile, then you will definitely be scared of me once I'm done with you. I push her back and she rubs her neck. She stands up and gets out of the tub. She grabs a towel and wraps it around her body. She walks out after that and I laugh. I stay in the tub for 10 more minutes and then get out. I dry myself off and put on some clothes to sleep in. I come out of the bathroom and see Bunny laying down in the bed. I walk to the bed and lay down beside her. I let out a long sigh. I hear her soft breathing and notice that she is already asleep. I look at the clock on the nightstand and then back at Bunny. I throw my head back, fuck it. Unknown POV. Where the hell are you? I take my shower and come out and see that you're not even in the room. I laugh into the phone as Jermaine rants. I came out for a drink. Don't worry, I won't be long. I hang up after that and put my phone down on the bar. I order myself a drink and look around. Put my drink on her tab. I look towards the voice and smile when I see Zayden sitting down beside me. Who said I was buying you a drink? He shrugs his shoulders and looks at me. You forgot to offer me a drink the first time we met, so this time you can make up for it. The bartender sets our drinks in front of us and I look around. Where's your friend? She didn't want to dance. He takes a sip of his drink. How do you know who I am? I raise my eyebrow, answering my question with a question is not right. I take a sip of my drink. I'm a friend of a friend. I receive a text from Jermaine and I read it. Jay, you're meeting up with Zayden, aren't you? I laugh at the text and then turn my phone off. Although Jermaine has his moments, he is actually a very smart man. I look at Zayden. How did you know I would be here? He rests his head on his hand. I just followed my gut. You said you know someone who has the same goal as me. Who is this person? I shake my head and laugh. Now, if I say his name, you will have your people come looking for us. He crosses his arms. What happens if I come across this friend and kill him? You're the one who's going to be at fault for not telling me. He shows me a mocking smirk. You won't kill him. I finish my drink and take out some cash. Oh, and tell Kate he better take care of my baby girl or I'll deal with him myself. Trackers. Jaslyn POV. I am out on the balcony on the phone. It's almost over. Kane and them just landed in Greece. Everything will be over soon. Just wait a little bit longer. I look up at the sky and sigh into the phone. I'm about to see my brother for the first time in years. She laughs in the phone. Your brother actually sounds very sexy. I heard him over the phone not too long ago. If he's single, tell him about me, okay? I roll my eyes and laugh. It seems like he has all of his attention on some other woman. She groans. Whatever. I actually ran into this fine-ass man. Although he is a big-ass nerd. He owns a whole comic book store and then some. But his looks make up for his nerdy ways. We talk on the phone for a few more minutes and hang up after that. I walk off the balcony and see Autumn. She looks at me and smiles. You seem to be in a good mood. I smile at her. I just got some good news. She raises her eyebrow. What news? I shake my head. That's a secret. She rolls her eyes. When do you not have a secret? Zayden POV. I wake up to the sound of Leo yelling. I get out of bed and walk to the bathroom. I do my morning routine and walk to the kitchen. I see everybody sitting down eating and Nancy cooking. I look at Leo. Why the hell are you yelling? He looks at me. Luke and Lyric are getting on my nerves. I look over at Bunny and Luke and see them laughing. Nancy hands me a plate and I sit down beside Neil. I ran into the woman from before again. I say as I put a fork full of eggs in my mouth. Neil looks at me. Did you get her name? I shake my head and look at Cade. No, but she did leave a message for Cade. He raises his eyebrow. Me? She knows me. I shrug my shoulders. By the way she was talking, it seems like she knows all of you. Kane crosses his arms. What's the message she left for Cade? Take care of my baby girl or I'll deal with him myself. I take a sip of my orange juice and look over at Bunny. She is talking to Barry and Nancy. Baby girl. This is a woman, right? Cade asks and I nod my head. Yep. The only person who calls Jasmine baby girl is her father. I shrug my shoulders. Well, this person is a woman. So that can only mean that the woman is Jasmine's mother. He shakes his head. Jasmine's mother is dead. She died in a really bad car accident. I roll my eyes. Did they find the body? He shakes his head and then takes a bite of his food. I look at him with a lazy look and he drops his head. I am so slow. I nod my head agreeing with him. Yeah, you are. They didn't find the body, meaning there's a high chance that Jasmine's mother is still alive and I have already met her twice already. Cade wipes his hands. What's her name? He looks at me. Scarlett Mills. He throws me his phone and I look at it. This is a family picture in Jasmine's old house. Is that her? I look at the picture and smile when I see the woman. Yep, that's her. That woman is Scarlett Mills. Kane stands up. When do we move? We need a plan. I tilt my head to the side. Plan? I was just going to walk in there. Neil looks at me. You're joking, right? You do realize this is a whole mafia, right? I nod my head. Yeah, but the person I'm going for has nothing to do with them, does he? Neil drops his head. You were really just going to waltz right in there. Kane shakes his head. Autumn and Elias know each other. Elias may have something to do with this mafia. I look at Kane. What makes you think that Autumn and Elias know each other? He shrugs his shoulders. Why did Elias choose Greece to meet you? Neil clears his throat. We're going to look around first. Somebody with the least amount of presents should go in there. I look over at Nancy and then at Barry. Nancy or Barry. They both look at me and I look at Neil. They have the least amount of presents. We can send Barry. Leo crosses his arms. Why him and not Nancy? I laugh, because my sister knows who Nancy is. So Barry will be going in. We all look at Barry and he drops his head. I don't like the way you all are looking at me. Cade stands up and put his plate in the sink. Barry will go in and look around. This is not a strong mafia because the place they are located is all in the public's eye. If they have guns, they are not the best guns. So in my opinion we don't have to worry about anything. Once we finish our breakfast, we get dressed and then we all head over to Kane's suite and see that they have a lot of things set up. Most of us will stay here and someone will go with Barry. Neil sits in front of his computer and I turn around and see Bunny talking to Barry. I walk up to them. What are you two talking about? Bunny looks at me and smiles. Barry's scared to go in that place by himself. I laugh. No need to be scared. If you get caught they will most likely make your death fast and painless. Bunny nods her head agreeing with me. That's what I told him and he looked at me and started to tear up. Kane rubs his face and sigh. You two really don't have any class, do you? Leave him alone. Barry, go get dressed and ignore every word those two were saying. Barry nods his head and walks to his room. I look at Bunny and see her staring at Missy. I pull Bunny by her collar and bring her face closer to mine. What are you thinking about? She smiles. Nothing. I let her go and she goes to sit down on the sofa. I stand behind her and bend down to her ear. Should I give you a preview on what I will do to you if you do anything? I whisper in her ear. She shakes her head and I bite her ear. Good girl. Neil clears his throat. I would like if you two were to not do that near me. I look at him and laugh, then move away. He glares at me and Leo laughs, although he gets on my nerves. That was actually funny. Kane claps his hands. I'm going to have Barry place 2 bugs in that building. Luckily Nova found some guy who's really good on the computers. Meaning Barry barely has to touch a computer. He will have to go to the main office and place one of the bugs on the computer screen or box. Barry comes out and has a nervous look across his face. Ah, Barry, it's okay. You don't have to be so scared. Why can't I just go instead of Barry? Bunny asks as she crosses her legs on the couch. If Jaslyn sees you, who knows what she might do? We don't know if she's with us or against us. Kane answers her as he hands Barry an earpiece. You need to go to the main office and plant this bug on the back of the computer screen. He hands Barry the first bug and I raise my eyebrow. Where does the second one go? Kane looks at me. Huh? Cade laughs at him. The second one has to go on the guy in the office, doesn't it? Barry looks at Kane with wide eyes. Does it? Kane makes a little noise and then nods his head. Yeah. Barry sits down. I can't do this. Why me? Kane looks at Leo. Because he's gay and you're his type. Me and Cade start laughing. Barry, you were going to be the one to go even if Nancy could go in there. I say while holding my stomach. Cade shakes his head. That's Kane for you. Barry quickly shakes his head. No. I definitely can't do this. Kane looks at Leo again and Leo stands up and sighs. Barry, come with me for a second. They walk down the hall and Kane glares at me and Cade. Did you two really have to start laughing? You weren't making the situation any better. Cade clears his throat. You're the one who tried to act like you didn't know who to send in there. When the entire time you knew you were going to send Barry. He sits down and groans. That's the inside plan. The outside plan is lyric. Bunny claps her hands. Yay, I get to do something. You're going to put a tracker on each of the cars you see out there. All the black nice cars are the ones you will place the tracker on. Got it? She nods her head and stands up. Do I have to be secrecy? Kane smiles and shakes his head. Nope. You don't have to worry about anyone. Cade looks at me and shows me a teasing smile. Do you approve of your bunny doing this? Bunny looks at me, I don't know. All of a sudden Barry and Leo come out of the room. Barry walks up to Kane. I can do this. But I think we should hurry and go before all of my confidence goes out the window. Kane nods his head and stands up. We're taking 2 cars. Leo and Barry in one and me, Lyric, Zayden, and Neil in the other. Bunny runs out and we follow behind her. I look at Leo. What did you say to him? He smiles at me. That's a secret. Kane hands us all earpieces as we get in the elevator. Leo and Barry will park close to the building. We get in the car and Kane drives to our destination. We will park around the block and Lyric, you will have to walk to the building. Bunny starts humming and I look at her up down. Bunny looks really sexy in her dress. She looks at me and bites her lip. I pull her on my lap and she kisses me. I kiss her back and she laughs. Can we do a quickie? I squeeze her ass and she moans, you don't even have to ask. Hell no. You got me all the way fucked up. Neil screams. I'ma kill you if you fuck in my backseat. Kane screams. Bunny licks my ear and I laugh. We'll be quiet. Bunny moves her hips and I get hard. I'm hard. I can't not fuck her. Kane slams on the brakes and I put my hands against the seat in front of me and Bunny hugs me. Okay, we won't fuck. I say as Bunny laughs at Kane and Neil. Zadie, they're just jealous because they can't have sex like us. I smile. I believe you're right, Bunny. Kane starts driving and Neil lets out a deep breath. I'm ready to go home. An hour later we get to our destination. Kane parks in an alleyway. Okay, Lyric. Time for you to go. Barry is already in the building and all you need to do is put a tracker on each car. Bunny nods her head and gets out of the car. I watch her until she leaves my sight. I could have fucked Bunny one last time. She might not come back. Kane throws a pair of glasses at me and Neil throws a hat and scoff, like you're just going to sit here while your bunny is out there placing trackers on cars. I look at Neil with a raised eyebrow and Kane looks at me. Stay hidden and don't let the cameras see your face. I put the glasses on and get out of the car. I walk down the alley and then put my hat on my head. I walk until I get to the building. Once I get to the building I see Bunny prancing by every car. Kane, I see a pretty car. Can I put a tracker on it? Bunny asks into the earpiece. I laugh as I see her looking at the car. Hell no. Lyric, do not do that. Neil answers. Bunny smiles and puts a tracker up there anyway. Okay, I won't. Catwoman. Lyric POV. I put the last tracker on the car and I smile. You like cars? I turn around and see a group of men. Yep. Are they yours? One man looks at me up and down. Yeah. You want to ride? I laugh. You or the car? I actually wouldn't mind riding both. He steps up to me. Oh really? He touches my collar, but it seems like someone already owns you. I wrap my arms around his neck and play with his shirt collar. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. He looks at me and I smile at him. All of a sudden I am being pulled away from the man. I look up and see Zadie. We're going to take our leave now. The man looks at me and then at Zadie. I think she should be tamed more. I laugh. I'm tamed enough. We walk away and Zadie pulls me by my wrist. Zadie. What are you doing here? We go in between 2 buildings and then behind one. He pushes me against the wall. Bunny, I almost killed that man in front of all those people. He undoes his pants and I pull my dress up. I turn around and he slides 2 fingers inside me. I let out a soft moan. Bunny was seducing that man. What would have happened if I wasn't there? He curves his fingers and I feel my legs go weak. I might have ended up riding him in the car. He licks the back of my neck and then bites my ear. You're being very defiant, Bunny. He rubs my clit and I push myself against him. He takes his fingers out and then slides his dick inside. He lets out a small groan. I like it when Zadie fucks me hard. He laughs and then slams his hips against mine. I throw my head back and he pulls my hair. I let out a loud moan and Zadie laughs. Bunny, you're too loud. Do you want someone to see us? He turns me around and lifts one of my legs up. He kisses me on the lips and I kiss him back. Let them watch. He groans, you are so fucking sexy. He fucks me harder and I scream. He kisses me again and then pulls away. By the way you're screaming, they're going to think someone is getting murdered. The pleasure is getting to me that I don't even say anything. I put my face in his neck. Zadie, more. 45 minutes later, me and Zadie are walking out of the alleyway and we go to sit down on a bench. Are you two assholes done fucking? Neil yells into the earpiece. I laugh as I watch the people walk by. Yeah, we're done. Is Barry done? Zadie asks. We walk past the building and see Barry and Leo walking out of the building. We walk past each other and Zadie winks at Leo. Leo rolls his eyes and Zadie laughs. Why did Leo go in there? Leo laughs into the earpiece. I had to play as Barry's boyfriend. I caught my boyfriend cheating on me with some man in the main office. I laugh, I wanted to see that. Where's Barry? I can't hear him. He took his earpiece out because you and Zayden were fucking. As we're walking, Kane pulls up to us. We get in the car and Neil is looking at his computer. Lyric, why is one of my tracking devices inside the building? I hum in response, I put one of the devices on the man I was with. Kane and Neil both look at me. What? Was that wrong? They both shake their heads and I laugh. What's after this? Zadie asks. We'll know once we find out where Elias is. Zadie looks at me. Want to go see Kovu when we get back to the hotel? I nod my head. Yeah. I miss Kovu. Zadie pulls out his phone and I watch him. He texts Luke and I raise my eyebrow. Luke's coming too. He nods his head. Yeah. We are back at the hotel and me, Zadie and Luke are below the hotel with Kovu. I hug Kovu and he rubs against me. What do you want to talk about? Luke asks as Zadie leans against the wall. Just in case I don't like Kane's plan. I came up with something else. Zadie says and Luke raises his eyebrow. What's the plan? Luke asks as he rubs Kovu. I'm going to send Bunny in first and then Kovu next. Zadie looks at me. Bunny, you can have all the fun you want when you get in there. I nod my head and smile. Okay. Kovu rubs against me. Why are you sending Kovu in? They have guns. Zadie looks at Luke. Cade said they have guns, but not that many. I'm sending Kovu in just in case it gets too much for Bunny. Kovu will distract some of them. We will follow behind Kovu and make sure he doesn't get shot. I stand up. How will we find Autumn? He looks at me. If Kane is right about Autumn and Elias knowing each other, we will more than likely find them in the main room of whatever building they are in. We hear the sound of the door opening. It's pretty rude to leave us out of the plan. We turn around and see Cade and Leo. Zadie drops his head. Kane was going to ask you to come up with a plan anyway. Cade walks up to me and looks at me. You're sending her in first? Why? I cross my arms. Why do you care who goes in first? He laughs. I don't. He looks at Zadie. Because everybody will be on Bunny. Cade crosses his arms. If she dies, that's your fault. Zadie laughs. Who said she's going to die? Bunny will have Kovu, so there's no need to worry. Kovu walks up to Zadie and sits down. As long as I kill Elias, I don't care about anything else. Cade steps away from me. Looks like you will be able to kill Elias tonight. Neil found him. Cade walks out and we follow him up to the suite. We walk in and see Neil on the computer. Kane walks from the kitchen. Lyric, why is one of my trackers miles away from the rest of my trackers? I look at Neil and smile. I put a tracker on the pretty car I saw. Neil looks at me with a disbelief look. Why? I shrug my shoulders. Because you told me not to. He shakes his head and looks back at his computer. Kane looks at me and laughs, I knew you were going to do that. He clears his throat, whatever plan Zayden got, some of us are going to go through with it. We will take 2 cars of course, but our drivers will be Nancy and Barry. I look at Zadie and he looks at Kane, why Nancy? Why can't she and Barry stay here? I look at Nancy and she looks at me, they will be safe while waiting in the cars. Missy will also be with them, but we will hide her somewhere else just in case they decide to look for her. Kane looks at Zadie, tell me your plan. Zadie sits down, Bunny goes in first and then Kovu goes in after her. Me and Luke follow Kovu to make sure he doesn't get shot. Kane nods his head and Neil puts a map of the place on the TV. We all look at it and Kane walks to the TV, okay, I'll go with you, Luke, and Lyric. If we want Kovu to get in, Cade and Leo will go through the front the same time Lyric goes in through the back. Leo raises his hand, why just me and Cade? Only 2 of us. I disagree. I laugh, is Theo scared? He glares at me and Zadie laughs, Cade is going to be with you. There's no need to be scared, Theo. Cade pats Leo's shoulder, I'll protect you, Theo. Leo lets out a long breath, I'm not even going to say anything. Kane, continue with the plan. Kane laughs and points to a room on the TV, Elias and Autumn will be in this room. The very top floor. If Cade is right about them not having many guns, this shouldn't be that hard. The people who would have the guns will be the people towards the top. Luke raises his hands, so most of this will be combat fighting and not gunfights. Kane nods his head, all of them will not have a gun. Only a few, but when we get to the top they will. It doesn't matter how many weapons we carry on us. I clap my hands and Neil and Kane look at me and then at each other. Lyric will have limited weapons on her. Kane says and Neil nods his head agreeing with him. I stop clapping and pout, well, that's not fair at all. Neil shakes his head, I'm not taking no chances with you. You might end up shooting one of us from being overexcited. I cross my arms and Luke laughs, ah, Lyric. It's okay. I sit down and cross one leg over the other. Leo, go get the outfits out of my room. Kane says to Leo and I look at Zadie, Zadie, what weapon should I carry? Zadie looks at me and smiles, that's for you to decide. I crawl on his lap and he puts his hand on my thigh. Leo comes out with a handful of clothes on hangers. He puts them down beside me and Zadie. Kane wants us all to match, so we will all be wearing black. Leo says as he picks up an outfit. Cade rolls his eyes, does it even matter? Leo hands me an outfit and I hold it up. Why does mine look like something Catwoman would wear? Zadie smiles and looks at it, I think Bunny will look really sexy in it. I hug the outfit, I want to hurry and put this on. He kisses my shoulder and laughs.